Derby Wars, racing's biggest contest site, is now even bigger with more than 200 games every day. Check out Survivor, Derby Wars' hottest new game. It's fun, easy to play, and for just $4 you could win $1,000. Just pick a horse to finish first, second, or third and advance to the next race. With daily payouts and games starting every hour, you'll see why fans are racing to play Survivor.
Welcome to another edition of HorseCenter, everyone. I am Brian Zipsy, and as always, I have the great pleasure of being joined by my co-host to the East Coast. That's Matt Shipman. How are you today, Matt?
I'm great, Brian. It's Travers week and another big weekend of racing coming up.
Matt, hold your horses. We cannot talk about the Travers yet. We need to talk about everything that went down on Saturday because it was big doings. I throw those words around sometimes, big doings, but this truly was big doings, Matt. Let's start in California, the other coast, Del Mar, where the turf meets the surf. The Pacific Classic was billed as a showdown. California Chrome, the $12 million man, Beholder, the defending champion, and the big horse, Dortmund. Matt, it wasn't much of a showdown.
It sure wasn't. All three of those horses were there, but you are right, Brian. It was not much of a showdown. It was California Chrome all the way. As I tweeted it shortly after the race, when the gate opened, it didn't take long. California Chrome took control, and the race was over.
It was over, Matt. Maybe at the first 50 yards, maybe at the 16th pole, at the backstretch, I just really never thought that he could be beat. Let's talk about California Chrome. First of all, 5 for 5. He's gone to Dubai and back. He won early in the year at California. Matt, as good a horse as he is, as great a horse as he is, all the big wins he's had, which include the Kentucky Derby, the Preakness, the Dubai World Cup, I think this was his best performance yet. Are you going to disagree with that?
I don't think you can disagree with that. With all the hype going into this race, with Beholder and the many Eclipse Awards, the defending champion in the Pacific Classic, with Dortmund with a fantastic record, an up-and-comer. You're absolutely right, Brian. It was Chrome's best performance, and he was just absolutely amazing.
Before the race, Matt, I was surprised to see. I wrote an article during the week saying that no matter what happens in the Pacific Classic, California Chrome and Beholder would be quickly ushered into the Hall of Fame after their retirement, after the 5-year waiting period. And I was surprised to see a lot of people disagreeing, not with Beholder at all. They were disagreeing with California Chrome. I thought he was a lock before the race. I don't think there's any question now.
Yeah, I don't know how you could have argued with that. He was almost a Triple Crown winner, and those kind of horses have a huge leg up into the Hall of Fame. His earnings are beyond everybody, and he's gone over the ocean to win the World Cup. I mean, he's a shoo-in for the Hall of Fame, and his victory in the Pacific Classic the other day doesn't enhance his resume that much either.
It enhances it, it adds to it, but it was already there. I think we agree on that. Hall of Fame, first ballot Hall of Famer, and this, best performance yet. Now, the horse that ran second, Beholder, I think this did quite a bit of good for her reputation. Now, I think her reputation is sustained excellence over several years now, where she just keeps coming. She's had her sicknesses. She's missed a couple Breeders' Cups, unfortunately, but she is truly the mark of sustained excellence over years' time. For her to lose to a female last time, people were wondering, maybe she's not the same horse. I think this race, second, pretty well beaten second, but she ran another very good race. What a mare.
Yes, she absolutely did. And what people need to remember is, yes, she got beat soundly by California Chrome, but she beat Dortmund. Yes. And to me, that's a better achievement than the horses she beat in the Pacific Classic last year.
Maybe. Yeah, I've argued that the Pacific Classic wasn't dog meat last year. I mean, you did have Bayern, and you did have Red Vine, and you had Opportunity, and you had I thought she didn't get enough credit for how good that Pacific Classic was last year. This one, yeah, her second here to California Chrome ahead of Dortmund, I think is further proof of what a great mare she is, and that she's still very much at the top of her game. Now, Dortmund, Matt. Dortmund, I was a little disappointed with his performance. We're going to talk about the rides in there in just a moment, but it looked like Dortmund really never had a chance to get Beholder even. And I think my feeling after the race was he got beat by two better horses.
I think that's a fair assessment, Brian. We're going to talk about the jockeys and the rides, and I think the bottom line with all of that is that Chrome was just too good.
Chrome was just too good. Fair enough. Dortmund, I should give you this. I said he was beaten by two better horses, but this was only the second race of his year. There is room for improvement for Dortmund, so we can't totally forget about him just because he was trounced by California Chrome and beaten clearly by Beholder. Matt, the rides are interesting. Now, first off, we have to give Victor Espinoza big kudos. There was one advantage going into the race. California Chrome, most people thought California Chrome was the best horse going in, but he drew the rail, Matt, in a pretty sizable field with other speed in the race. That was the one advantage the other riders had. That advantage was for naught.
Yeah, Victor kind of eliminated that advantage very quickly. And, I think most of us, when we thought about the race, figured that he would hustle California Chrome out of the gate, which he absolutely did. But I don't know, I guess most of us just assumed that after he did that, is that he would go to the rail, save ground, and take it from there. But he hustled him out of the gate, but very, very interestingly, he moved Chrome out into the middle of the track, forcing the riders on Beholder and Dortmund to make a decision about how they were going to deal with that.
Yeah, I think that was a huge decision. I think it was one of the best tactical decisions I've seen by a jockey in a long time, Matt. Here's what he did in essence. He dared Gary Stevens and or Rafael Bejarano, his two main competitors in the race. Either you dive to the inside and try to take the rail, in which case I'd rather be outside you anyway, or you go super wide into the first turn. Go ahead, go 6-7 wide to try to get up on my flank, or do what they did. And basically, Matt, they relaxed their horses. They wanted no part of going with California Chrome, a wide California Chrome into the first turn. And therein lies the no chance for the others. I'm not arguing that California Chrome wasn't going to win no matter what, but the fact that the other riders really never went after Chrome hard at pretty much at any point in the race. Now, Gary Stevens said he asked Beholder on the turn and he wasn't gaining. So be it. But the fact that both of them really put no pressure on Chrome for the first 6-7 furlongs was surprising and may have made life a little easier.
No question, Brian. When they decided not to plunge to the rail, and it just made it that much easier for Chrome. He just took off, then moved closer to the rail, and as we've both been saying, they weren't going to catch this. They weren't going to catch Chrome under any circumstance, as it turned out. But it sure was an interesting tactic that Espinoza put into play coming out of the gate.
The best horse won the race, Matt. We're in agreement. The best rider won the race, at least on that day. Kudos to Victor Espinoza. Matt, horse of the year. California Chrome's now 5 for 5. Like I said, he's done it California, he's done it in Dubai, he's done it throughout the year. Is he close to wrapping up this horse of the year race?
I think he is very close to wrapping up the horse of the year. Absolutely, Brian. And, with the Classic coming up, I think it's to the point where he could even still win the horse of the year, even if he doesn't win the Classic. If he's in it, I don't see that happening, but I think right now there is big, and you may not agree with me on this, Brian, but I think there is a big space in the older male division between Chrome and everybody else, and that includes Frosted.
Yeah, Frosted. Now, I took some gentle or not so gentle ribbing after the Pacific Classic. Listen, folks, as a Frosted fan, you know I'm a Frosted fan. I am nothing but happy to see what happened in the Pacific Classic. If Frosted is to win the Breeders' Cup Classic, I want him to beat the best possible competition. And California Chrome surely proved that he is the best possible competition with this performance at Del Mar on Saturday. Now, for the Horse of the Year race, I agree. I think California Chrome is close to wrapping it up. But I also think that the Breeders' Cup Classic is the Super Bowl as far as winning championships in thoroughbred horse racing in America. So horses like Exaggerator, like Nyquist, like Frosted, those would be the three most readily, I think, available as far as, well, they did enough earlier in the year where if they were to beat California Chrome in the Breeders' Cup Classic, I think that could change things. But certainly California Chrome has a big lead going into the Classic. Of those, I really, unless it rains, maybe for Exaggerator, I think Frosted would be the one that could give California Chrome the competition in the Breeders' Cup Classic, and I can't wait to see it. Matt, speaking of can't wait to see, I can't wait to see Songbird's next race. 10 for 10, Matt.
10 for 10. She just keeps on rolling. And at Saratoga on Saturday in the Alabama, she just kept on rolling. The girl does not do anything wrong. Rolled out to a 7-length victory, which is the biggest margin of victory in her career thus far.
Yeah, for me, a lot of it was the 10 furlongs. I know Saratoga can be a demanding track for front runners. I wanted to see her at 10 furlongs. That's another question mark. And once again, it was no real question at all. She just put these fillies away. I actually felt bad for Go Maggie Go. Not that she tried to take the race to Songbird, not that she isn't a good filly, but she was just outclassed, and Songbird will do that to clearly these other 3-year-old fillies. Matt, I want to see her come back in the cotillion because I think Catherine Sophia is now sitting on a big race, and she's going to get a race over the track. And Songbird's going to have to come back from 10 furlongs down to a shorter distance in the cotillion, which I believe is 8.5 furlongs. So I think it's crazy to say, but I think if ever a 3-year-old filly is going to beat Songbird, the cotillion, because of those reasons, dropping from 10 to 8.5, Catherine Sophia being fresh, rested, getting a race over the track, and really seeming to finally come back out of her skin after I said she was a tired horse after the Kentucky Oaks. All those reasons make me think, hey, maybe the cotillion is going to be a really good race.
Yeah, and people need to keep in mind that if you want to say one thing about Catherine Sophia, when she's at the top of her game, she's fast. And that's a question that a lot of people have about Songbird. Songbird just rolls along and puts people away, but there are people out there that question whether she's fast.
She's fast. Catherine Sophia's fast. I'm looking forward to the race. I'm probably in the minority who thinks anybody, at least a 3-year-old filly, has a chance against Songbird. And I'm taking nothing away from Songbird, folks, but I've just seen this for 45 years of watching races, how things kind of set up a certain way and make it a little bit ripe for the upset. And I think maybe Catherine Sophia gives her a race finally. But as far as the Alabama, anybody who comes to me, and I saw so many people say, but Brian, she ran 27 seconds for the final quarter. That wasn't a good performance. It makes no sense to me, Matt. She won by 7 lengths. She won easily. Mike Smith wasn't asking her. I don't care that she ran 27. I don't care that if she ran 29. That was just domination.
I absolutely agree with you, Brian. Like you said, I too felt a little sorry for Go Maggie Go, but you know what? She joins a long list of horses who have tried to run with Songbird, and the end result is that they end up at the back of the pack, and Songbird takes off down the stretch. So she's a tremendous competitor and an easy goer on the racetrack, and and just wins and wins and wins.
10 for 10, Matt. You can't beat that. Couple of other stories I think this weekend we should touch on. First, Lady Aurelia. Lady Aurelia, folks, is this wonderful 2-year-old filly, daughter of Scott Daddy, trained by Wesley Ward, who just works up a storm at Keeneland. Her first race at Keeneland was magnificent. It came in a maiden race. Then she goes to Royal Ascot in June and dominates there. Now she does it again in France, Matt. She's had 3 races, America, England, and France. Remember, she trains in America and she's pointed for the Breeders' Cup. I've never seen anything like this where a horse has had 3 great wins in 3 different countries to start their career, at least an American horse.
Well, we don't see it very often because Wesley Ward is the only one who will try and do it. Hats off to him.
Hats off to him. And Lady Aurelia is, I think she's the best juvenile filly on the planet. And hopefully she can stretch out for one of those Breeders' Cup races that she'll be in. Matt, there was an interesting race at Saratoga yesterday. Time and Motion, Catch a Glimpse, clearly the best 3-year-old turf fillies in the country. Catch a Glimpse gave Time and Motion her only loss this year, last time in the Belmont Oaks, but it was close. This time, Time and Motion was able to reverse that decision and win the Lake Placid in a very interesting race.
Yeah, Catch a Glimpse came into the race with 8 wins in a row on the turf, but Johnny V, who's been riding Time and Motion in her last 4 or 5 races, he had in his mind to change things up this time, and decided to keep Time and Motion a lot closer to Catch a Glimpse this time. So he tucked on the rail, kept her in sight, and coming around the turn, it looked like it was going to be a repeat to me. Catch a Glimpse started to spurt away, but Johnny V had not asked Time and Motion to go yet, and when he did, keeping her closer was all it took, and Time and Motion wore down Catch a Glimpse and turned the tables.
Yeah, Time and Motion is a terrific young filly, lightly raised, ran a very good Breeders' Cup last year, but this year she's 4 for 5. Losing only to Catch a Glimpse narrowly, as we said in the Belmont Oaks. Catch a Glimpse, of course, has only lost narrowly now to Time and Motion. It's a very good rivalry. I think clearly they're the best 2 3-year-old turf fillies in the country. I want to see them run again. And, everybody loved Catch a Glimpse for that long winning streak, but Time and Motion looks to be every bit the turf filly that Catch a Glimpse is. So we'll look forward to them moving forward, hopefully next Keeneland in the Queen Elizabeth II Challenge Cup. So that'll be fun. Matt, now we can talk Travers. What a show today, Matt. There's so much to talk about. But the Travers, I just wrote down the big 11 for the Travers, Matt. That's how many good horses there are going in the Travers. Sure, Exaggerator will be the favorite. And we're watching the weather report closely. Right now, it looks like a fast track for Saratoga on Saturday. But I counted 10 horses that I think could beat them in the Travers.
Yeah, you and I were talking before the show, trying to think of when the Travers last had a full field. And like you said, Brian, there are 10 or 11 who have a good shot, but I think 15 horses are going to be entered, but only 14 can run. So talk about an important post position draw. This is certainly one of them.
Yeah, we'll see some horses stuck way outside or maybe stuck on the rail. It's almost a mini Kentucky Derby with a full field of 14. Exaggerator, of course, as we all know, moves up on a wet track. I think he can win anyway with it, even on a dry track. But with the odds, I'm not going to play him so much, just looking at from a handicapping standpoint. Also, probably, I think the second choice might be American Freedom, who ran a very good race in the Haskell to be second. I'm looking at some of those Jim Dandy horses as horses. I thought that was a very good race. Lauban was allowed to set an easier pace and won, broke his maiden. By the way, he's not a throwout. But Destin, you can't hold anything against Destin. He's just been very consistent. But what about Governor Malibu? I've been looking. He was my Belmont long shot. I think he's going to be 10-1 in this field, and I think he has a big shot.
Yeah, if any horse was making a move on Lauban in the Jim Dandy, it was Governor Malibu. This is one of those times where are we going to see something, see a breakthrough from Governor Malibu here, or are we just going to kind of see him lugging up to get second, or third again. It's going to be interesting.
Well, Clement is a trainer I love going a distance, whether it be turf or dirt. He's proved that time and time again. So I think Governor Malibu, actually, if he runs a similar race that he did in the Jim Dandy, I think he can win because that race was not set up for him at all. Where I think the Travers will be set up for much better with more pace to run at. But Matt, Chad Brown 3, I'm talking my man Sam Connect. Who knows how good Connect is? Gift Box, you can't throw him out. Bob Baffert's 2. I already said American Freedom. I don't think he might be worth the odds, but obviously a very talented horse. And Arrogate, who knows how good Arrogate is for Baffert. So 2 big ones for Baffert, 3 big ones for Brown. We're not even talking about Asmussen, gun runner, the multiple stakes winning Louisiana Derby winner, and Creator, the Belmont winner, Matt. What a fun field this will be.
I think to summarize it, Brian, any of those horses that you mentioned has a legitimate chance to win this race, and I wouldn't be betting the favorite in the Travers on Saturday.
Great point, Matt. And that was the point that Matt so eloquently made that I didn't. Exaggerator certainly could win. American Freedom certainly could run a big race. But in my book, those are going to be the 2 favorites. And this doesn't look like a race where you want to be on the favorites from a betting standpoint. Also a wonderful card, Matt, full of stars. But I think the biggest star that's going to run on the Travers card is probably going to be the Turf filly, Lady Eli. Lady Eli hasn't run in over a year. We all remember how fantastic she was before everything that happened to her. Now she's coming back, Matt. That's exciting.
It sure is. It's a huge card on Travers Day. 7 graded stakes races, 6 of them grade 1s. The only grade 2 is featuring Lady Eli in the wonderful story of her comeback. All reports are that this Lady Eli may be better right now than the Lady Eli that we last saw running. So imagine what we could see, Brian. What a fantastic story that would be. I love Lady Eli, and I can't wait to see that race.
Matt, generally, I worry about horses that are on a long layoff, 6 months, 9 months. In Lady Eli's case, we're talking about, 14 months, serious injury, serious disease that she overcome. It's a great story. But put all these things together. Chad Brown, turf. Chad Brown, turf at Saratoga. The fact that she's been working with so many good Chad Brown horses, and she's been working well. C. Khaleesi, I think, is the best distance turf filly in the country so far this year, and Lady Eli's very much keeping her own with C. Khaleesi in the workouts. Everything seems like we should see a really good comeback race for Lady Eli, and Matt, that's what we all want to see.
No question. I have a feeling we're going to see something special in that race on Saturday.
Should be a special day at Saratoga. We're talking Saturday, August 27th at Travers, the wonderful undercard that Matt hinted to, Flintshire, Karina Mia, you name it, the King's Bishop. What a day of racing at Saratoga. California Chrome, Songbird, Matt. This has been fun. Folks, thank you for watching. As always, we're brought to you by Derby Wars, the best contest site out there. How about you, Matt? Parting shots for us?
Again, I'm really looking forward to the Travers, and as always, I want to thank our new producer, Brett Workman, for the great show.
Brett Workman is picking right up where Ember Moore left off. Thank you, Brett. Thank you, folks, for watching. We can't wait to see you next week. Enjoy a great day at Saratoga on Saturday.